the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host this evening from Los Angeles, California, the one and only Matty Goldberg.
Welcome back. It's going to be interesting because there's probably you have new viewers that are like, who the fuck is this guy? And then you got probably old viewers that are like, he's still alive?
Everybody wants it. Give me a
yeah. That's for Joe, Mr. Prano, all the way in Hawaii. He's in.
Yeah, Prano, I think, is currently on a flight to Hawaii.
Okay. So while you're surfing, hit those waves, baby.
We had to do it. So
Prano,
like I just said, is in Hawaii, and he said we could do it this time. We could do it this time, and my little girl is sick again.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I said, yeah, thanks. So I said, let's. I was like, what about me and Matty? What about just me and Matty? Old school.
Yeah, this is back in the day.
A little Ruther Goldberg combo.
This is going back 6-7 years. It's wild that like you guys were one of the first sports podcasts, and the market of this podcast has been like oversaturated. Like, I think you're one of the first, and now there's like specific ones. Like, your buddy Justin has the Bengals one. Like now people have team ones. I mean, it is everywhere.
It is everywhere. It's
and
so
you guys
saturated.
were one of the first.
Well, I don't know if we were one of the first. I mean, we're early. 2014 January was our first episode.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, Bar still existed then. Of course, they had a few podcasts already. Yeah. But like, I mean, yeah, it's so specialized now.
It's crazy. I mean, there's probably a referees podcast. There's, there's probably every little fucking nugget player podcast. But it's now you got players doing podcasts. I mean, the Kelsey podcast. Who the hell can listen to that shit?
You know who listens to the Kelsey podcast? My girlfriend.
Oh,
I know.
Is she's not a Swiftie, is she?
No, she's not a Swiftie, but like she's got suckered in. Now she went. Yeah. She's a grad. Her undergrad is University of Cincinnati, right where they went.
Yeah, they both went there.
And her and I watched the Kelsey documentary on Amazon.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
No. I will. The next one I'm going to watch is Barry Sanders. I watched the Bob Probert one, which I'm more into, like, the guy that fucks his life out with drugs and alcohol and beats the shit out of people. That's more my speed.
I just watched the Barry Sanders one. My girlfriend and I watched it too over the holiday. It's great. Sure.
Yeah, that's sort of surprising because I'm old and I go back, and when he did retire, it was shocking because he probably had 4 or 5 years left. And he was the best, him and Emmitt Smith at the time were the two best running backs for sure.
What went through your head? I was having flashbacks. I was telling my girlfriend, right? So he retires at 99.
Yeah.
So I'm still in high school, right? And I was telling my girlfriend, I was legitimately pissed because Walter Payton was a little before my time for the most part.
Yeah, I saw him.
Right. But I really wanted Barry Sanders to break that record. So I was like, he was basically one season or maybe a season in like 3 or 4 games from breaking Walter Payton's record at the time. And I was so bummed when he retired. But again, man, he doesn't fully go into it if you watch the documentary. Sure. But at the end, I don't want to do too many spoilers, but he's sitting there talking with his sons. He's in London.
Yeah.
And he's like, basically without saying it, it was the losing, Matty. He just couldn't, Barry never cared about the individual accolades. At the end of the day, he's like, I just want to be on a team that wins, man.
And, like to this day, when people are assholes, I'll say to them, like, when Barry Sanders scored a touchdown, he scored a lot. He just tossed the ball to the ref. And that's like, so he was, he wasn't a showboat. when he retired, I think the consensus was the Lions are this shit organization. And it was just like the Lions do what the Lions do. And to have like their greatest player just retire in his prime. It happened twice.
I know. Joe and I talk about like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to think 2 all-time greats in their prime have just said this is too much of a dumpster fire.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they turned it around. I mean, I know you guys aren't the biggest Dan Campbell guy. I think what he did was, having Ben Johnson as the OC. I mean, he's probably going to get the next big job. So they're kind of fucked when he leaves because, their offense is really good. The defense, but like when they lose him, that's going to be a lot of trouble because I think the reason why Dan Campbell is successful is because he probably knows he's not that smart. So he kind of puts it in the coordinator's hands and he just kind of manages everything on top. So, I mean, but it's awesome they've been losers for so long. It's hard not to root for them.
So he's starting to win me over. I've shit on him so hard.
I know.
Like I've shit on him so hard, but you just said something that's important.
Yeah.
He knows he's not going to be the offensive guru.
No.
Which we'll get to a whole thing about my
and
take.
He's got one. And I think today Frank Reich got fired. And I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina right now is tampering with him because he's the hot guy, in my opinion.
With Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Here's the thing. You want to let him in? Is he not coming in? Roscoe.
Is Roscoe your puppy?
Yeah, he's our old man. He's 12 and a half. I know. Matty, my life has changed so much since.
It's great, man. It's happy to see you like this. Really, it's domesticated Andy. Are you gonna marry or what's the deal?
Yeah, we'll get married.
I'll be there if I get the invitation. I invited myself. Yeah, bachelor party. I'll put it together. Double dildo show. Had that Todd Marinovich when he got drafted. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, there's a great article about him that if you look up when he got drafted.
Who drafted him? The Bucks?
No, he got drafted by the Raiders.
That's right, the Raiders.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, well, Peyton Manning start studying right away, and fucking Tom Rich had a double dildo show and these barbecue grills that I don't know, 100 feet long, but definitely double dildo show. That's what I remember.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he didn't last long.
Anytime I hear double dildo show, I think of Requiem for a Dream.
Sure.
When the guy goes to Jennifer Connelly, he goes, ass to ass. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, that movie was so, I watched it once and it was it fucked my head up so much that, I don't even know what happened at the end.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and rewatch it. I've watched it a couple of times, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's a funny little nug on the Todd Marinovich, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the documentary about him, it's pretty insane, and it's
the 30 for 30. I've watched it.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, it goes to show when these overbearing parents what happens to the kids.
Yeah, don't do that to your daughter. You don't have her working her muscles out for soccer or something.
No, not at all. She's it's crazy, man. So I took her to the pediatrician today. She's been sick, she's been off and on sick. So she has a double ear infection and slight pneumonia.
Wow.
I know. And you're you know what thought hit me when I was driving home?
Yeah.
Because I hear pneumonia and maybe it's just old school. I'm like, how serious? The doctor's
pretty scary. Yeah.
But he's also dude, this is literally just an antibiotic. So I was thinking though, in the old days, dude, if you had a double ear infection and pneumonia, that's why kids, remember how babies would die the 1800s like that? You're dead.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky we grew up now.
Oh, 100%. That's what I was thinking. She's going to be on antibiotics for 10 days. You could probably tell she got me sick.
Yeah.
I always refer to daycare as the Wuhan lab because it's every goddamn virus is there. And
my nephew's at the doctor right now. He's sick. He's sick all the time. He goes to school, he gets sick. There's so many germs at school,
100%. Give me a second. This dog is just clawing at the door.
It's all right. Reminds me of old times with me. All right, I'm Matty G. How you guys doing? I can't really read the chat. Hold on, let me see if there's a chat.
Are you coming in or not?
Nah, I'll wait. Rock up.
Unbelievable.
They like to play games, man. They know exactly what's going on. So they like to fuck with you.
100%. What's the dog situation like?
I'm taking care of 2 right now, but they are well behaved. So I moved. So I just kind of dog sit. And, remember that 3-legged dog that was a pain in the ass? He passed away, unfortunately, or she passed away. So, I kind of, it's pretty mellow right here at the Goldberg compound. Just playing poker today, watching football. Just going to try and make beef and broccoli for dinner tonight while I watch the game. Very simple man I am. I might order food though.
So you're telling me nothing's changed, really?
Nothing, bro. I'm gonna die like this. You're like, what do you drink? I'm like Coca-Cola, and you're like, man, you haven't quit that shit. I'm like, I'm gonna ride or die Coca-Cola until I die. That's my vice, baby.
When are we gonna get Matty G in a Coca-Cola commercial?
Dude, fuck Pepsi. That's all I gotta say. How crazy I am. Before I go to Vegas, there's a map on Google which hotels have Coke and Pepsi, and that's where I decided to stay. That's pretty fucking dedication.
That is dedication. Yeah. I was going through, I think I was texting you. I was going through, you can do the archive on Instagram stories.
Sure.
And I was looking through you and I and our trips to Vegas.
Oh my God. And
I'll show my girlfriend Brittany, and I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And she was just looking at me kind of like, because you know how it's like you and I had the most tame Vegas, but it was so funny. Matty, some of these videos, we are so stoned and we're just sitting in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. That's reminiscing.
What I remember most is you saying, "You got a fucking dart in your neck" from the movie
Old School.
Old School, yeah. So you just be like, you got a fucking dart in your neck. I have that. For your when is your 1000th episode?
It's December 16th, or we're recording it December 16th.
Okay.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
It works out. It's actually going to drop on Christmas Day.
Wow.
That's a Monday.
Merry Christmas to all the dirt balls.
I know. It just so happened it's going to drop that day.
It's pretty nuts, man.
You have a list? Do you want to do your list?
I made a top 8 list. I mean, I don't know, yeah. I mean, I did it. You want me to go through it real fast before we get into football?
Yeah, man. Take your time. There's no rush.
Okay, hold on.
So this is your top 8 list of dirty sports moments?
Yeah, this is for the 1000th episode. There's been a lot of funny ass shit that's gone down. So the first one is not so funny. It's just more of good memories. But doing the Dent Report with you was a lot of fun. We had a blast doing it because we just talked about life. We didn't really talk about sports. We both have head injuries. So it was a pleasure to do. I think we did it for a year or so. So that's number 8. Number 7.
Hold on, real quick. I had a funny Dent Report memory.
Sure.
I was thinking the other day, I was laughing.
Yeah.
We're at your house, at your sister's.
Yep.
And I believe, was it season 2 or season 3 of The Path?
I'm not sure. I mean, probably 2. I don't know.
Well, anyway, it was like a cast party.
Oh yeah, Aaron Paul was there. Yeah.
It was like a cast party.
Yeah.
It was like 20, 25 people.
Oh yeah, I did something stupid.
And we were gonna watch. So your sister's gonna play the first episode of the new season.
Yeah.
And the cast is there.
Yeah.
And me and your dumbasses are there.
Yeah.
And Aaron Paul comes up to you. There's your sister had ordered all this pizza.
Yeah.
And everybody's just hanging out, and Aaron Paul coming up to you, and you're telling Aaron that you had a line in the season, and he's literally patting you on the head like you're retarded.
It was a charity line. Yeah. I had 3 lines. I remember Joe got the whole Let Matty Path thing, and it was fun. I mean, it was I played a cult member, and I get a check to this day for $30 every few months. Sometimes $50. I mean, I don't know why they give these dumb checks. Literally people get 68 cents.
I know. The residuals are weird.
Such a waste of fucking.
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Before, so everybody is in the living room.
Yeah.
And the TV's on. And again, it's the cast of the show. And your sister's like, dude, how do we get this going? And Matty has the remote in front of everybody. He's like, "We gonna put on some porn."
I think I started doing like some chant, like "Fly Eagles Fly" or something stupid. I forget what I did. It was something really dumb that I was just screaming.
You were
I was,
stoned.
yeah, I was embarrassing myself.
Yeah, that was fun. Okay, so number 8, you have the Dent report.
Yeah. So 7 is the Dodger Cubs game we got, and the infamous guy heckling John Jay, which I'll never forget because it was the worst heckles. It was just like, "Hey, John Jay, you like hey John Jay, you can't play." For 3 fucking hours, this guy kept saying the worst like rhymes to his name. "Hey, John Jay, you can't stay. You can remember that guy?"
Yeah, so I remember that. So that was Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
It was Memorial Weekend. It was Cubs,
Dodgers.
Dodgers, and that was actually the first time I sat in the bleacher seats ever at Dodger Stadium. And I don't know if you remember this, Matty.
Yeah,
We smoked, and then we had edibles at your place before we went to the game.
yeah, we were high.
Do you remember how stoned I? Do you remember I did? And I've never done
Your
this.
eyes are all fucked up.
No, but I've never done this since. We got there for first pitch.
Yeah,
I did not leave my seat. I loaded up on like hot dogs and nachos. You know, I had the munchies and shit.
that's right. You didn't move.
I didn't move. And I remember at one point, Matty looks at me and he goes, "Dude, it's the 8th inning.
Yeah.
You have not even left your seat."
No.
I sat through an entire baseball
And those
game.
seats are tough because the sun hits right on you. They're like the worst seats at Dodger Stadium because if you're there in the summertime in the day, holy shit, it's bad. But I'll never forget that heckler, and we were just like, this guy is just he just wouldn't shut up.
He goes, "Hey, John Jay, John Jay."
Yeah, he goes, "John Jay, you can't
Hey,
play.
John Jay.
Hey, John Jay, why don't you stay? Hey, John Jay, you're kind of gay." And like it was. And then later, I'm a big like. Do you ever watch the Cocaine Cowboys documentaries?
Yeah, they're great.
So then I learned that they had one about like these speedboat guys that were big drug mules in the 80s in Miami.
Yeah,
Their
watched
main
it.
guy was John Jay's father.
Yeah. John Jay's dad was involved in the cartel.
Yeah, so that was pretty wild. And I just was like, John Jay. So number 6 is meeting the Dirtballs. Like, it's cool to meet them in person. They're a wild, like, eclectic bunch. I was in AC one time, and this guy just came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Matty Goldberg from Dirty Sports." I had a kid hit me up. He grew up like right near me, and he's like, "Oh, maybe you know my cousin." I had the biggest crush on this dude's cousin in high school. Never got with her. Called her a few times. You know, I was like, this was back in the rotary phone days where you call and I would hang up like.
All these guys. Nick the Nick guy was like a serial
I think he
killer.
came to Dirtball State or something with you guys.
He did.
Yeah.
You love the video with Nick the Nick guy.
Oh, he just
at
looks
Ball
so
State.
out of it, man. But that all the guys are really cool. I mean, it's like it's a tough show. Like the first time I did it, you know, there's a lot of people that were like, "Fuck this guy," and then they kind of grow on you. And there's some guys that did it once that like was just hated forever. That
Joe Bartnick.
Yeah, and I like Joe. I see him from time to time. And
I like Joe too.
Yeah, he just didn't really fit in because he was just like, you know, the Steelers in the 70s was real fucking football. These quarterbacks wear panties. And it's just like, okay. You know.
Hey, can I play a call real quick? Actually, now you bring up the dirt balls.
Yeah.
This is great memories. So you're at number 6. I want to share some great memories. This is B Indigo.
Oh, yeah, I love B.
So I'm going to play a call. This is B Indigo.
Hey, Joe, it's your boy.
No, that's not it. Oh, did I load the wrong one? Hold on.
I'm here.
Oh man, I gotta find it.
You know, B the Indigo. I'm not gonna give you any surprises, but he was there with my number 2 memory.
I know, and that damn, I'm gonna have to find this. That's what that's about. Him calling.
He remembers.
He remembers. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, just go through it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to download that again.
Okay, so number 5 is a sad day. I gotta talk about this. March 10th, 2022 is like a day that I'll never fucking forget because I did Dirty Sports with you, and then we went to the Ducks game, which was I should say March 10th, 2020. which was the last sporting event when COVID closed everything down. So when we got there, they were kind of like, "Does the NCAA tournament going to happen?" It was kind of up in the air. We were like, "Let them play." And then when we got there, we heard that Rudy Gobert got COVID and then Tom Hanks got COVID. And we didn't know shit about it. So we're like, "Oh my God, these people are going to die." And
I'm gonna correct. Can I correct you real quick?
Sure.
It was March the 11th, actually.
Okay, March 11th. My bad.
All good. It was a Wednesday.
Yeah. So it was a crazy night. You wore a hazmat suit, which you say you sometimes regret, but I think it was pretty funny.
Yeah, that video is not on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, and literally, this was the last day before they shut down sports. And I remember being like panicking there because we don't know anything about COVID. We're in this giant arena. We're around a bunch of people. And I remember taking a piss, and some dumb hockey fan was like, because the NBA canceled their season like during the game.
Well, they paused it.
Yeah, they paused it.
Yeah.
So this guy in the bathroom is like, "The NBA are a bunch of pussies. Hockey's going to have a longer season." I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Dude, it's all done, brother. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" So,
yeah, that's crazy. I forgot. It was me, you, and Majid.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Majid. It was the really nice kid that used to do your videos. I think he got a job.
Nick D'Alessandro. Yeah, but Majid was there too.
Great guy. Sorry.
Was Majid there too?
Yeah. He was there.
Oh,
the best thing about Majid is he's always like a little late with things. So we all know everything that happened. You know, like we heard about Rudy Gobert, we heard about Tom Hanks. And then like in the second period, he's like, "Did you guys hear about Rudy Gobert?" And it's like, that's everybody's fucking talking about it, man. Like, you're a little late to the show, brother. But like, you know, there was like a little fear. Like, you're like, what the fuck is gonna happen? And
yeah,
it was a wild day.
That was wild.
Yeah. Shit. Sorry, I should have.
I love Matty's top 8, by the way.
Okay. Number 4. This is a really interesting one. The Legend of Spunky.
Ah, Spunky.
See, not many of your new viewers know it, but I'll just give you a basic breakdown. You were working for Lance Bass, so you got some crossover fans, and there was a girl. It was a woman. She was very attractive, and her name was Spunky, and she said she lived in like Westchester, New York, and she was super rich, and all that she would like flirt with all the dirt balls, and it'd always be like, send nudes, and she would flirt with them. And I actually believed everything she fucking said. And she said like that she was married a Italian doctor, and the first date he took her to Rome on a private jet. She had the Jonas Brothers play at her house, and like she was all in the dirtball world for some reason. And somehow you guys figured out.
No, you know who exposed her?
Is it your buddy in Minnesota, right?
It's A. Millie.
Oh, A. Millie figured it out.
Do you know what A. Millie did? It's one of the most brilliant things ever, which I've done to try to expose.
Picture, right?
Yeah. Say, just hold up a picture or take a picture holding up a spoon.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't do it. And then we realized Spunky. But here's what was crazy about the Spunky thing.
Yeah. She
wasn't just exposed on our show. She was then exposed on Lance Bass's show. So then I had to take that to his radio show. At the time we were on Sirius XM. And that was a huge revelation because she was so involved with that show. Dude, she used to call into that show. So what we learned was she was like a fat Puerto Rican chick.
You know, when I finally saw her real Twitter, because you guys revealed her real Twitter, I couldn't stop looking at it because it was so depressing.
So depressing.
She was asking for like $10. She worked at a grocery store, and it was just, she certainly didn't look like who she was. And as soon as you guys revealed it, like she blocked everybody on everything.
Everybody. By the way, I have her number. I just looked at my phone. I have a number in my phone, Spunky, because she claimed, and again, like I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
He claimed she could book me for a private comedy show.
Oh my goodness.
At her like place in the Hamptons or some bullshit.
Yeah, she had these crazy stories, and I was always like, look, I was dumb and I believed it, but I was always like, if she's doing so well and she's married to this Italian guy, why is she flirting with all these like dirt balls? And hanging out on Periscope with everybody and like kind of like, you know, being part of this world. Like it didn't add up, but I somehow was duped. I gotta say, like I believed in the Spunky story, and I'm a fool for that.
I'm gonna put out a request to the Dirtballs, anybody who's listening, especially you, A Millie. Can you send me her Twitter? I need.
It's embarrassing.
I know, but I need to do an update on Spunky.
I called. I was kind of like when Matt Costello used to always be like, you know, like he used to flirt with her. I'm like, dude, I got a revelation for you, and I told him about it, and like he was like, holy fuck, like he was like, it was like the crying game. It was that intense because all these guys were so in love with her, and like her pictures were great, but then when you looked at her pictures, you realized there was like some sort of coding, you know, like the artificial coding in the pictures.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever figured out. She's obviously a catfish. Which attractive woman in that woman's family is she impersonating?
No idea. Not only that, she made other attractive women. She had friends.
Oh, that's right. It was a whole web
too. She had like 3 friends that were like getting into the world too.
She was like in the early catfish days. Like,
yeah,
I don't think catfishing was as big. Dude, this is like 2015. I don't think catfishing was as big back then.
No, and now it's kind of like so frowned upon that you have to be a real sociopath to do it. But
yeah,
I thought about it and I was like, but hey, like her life is pretty sad. Like it's pretty cool to have this fake life and have people believe it, you know, like she's obviously a mess and it's fun to think that your husband is this Italian surgeon that like takes you to like steakhouses every night and takes you on these crazy vacations. I mean, it was the biggest, craziest lies ever, but like she was part of the dirtball universe for a good like 3 months until like you guys cracked the code. And
again, that's all A Millie, man. Okay, so that's number 4.
Yeah. So number 3 is okay. This was a tough one. He who cannot be named. And I gotta talk about him. I'm not gonna
for sure.
I'm not gonna throw shade at him because he's a little, you know, he's an interesting guy, but his saga on Dirty Sports is like next.
Let's just say his name. We can say his name for this. Poop Sock.
Yeah. So he was at the baseball game too, and I had him crash at my house, and it was odd because he did not say a word to me. Like he just looked at his phone, and then we drove to your place, and then his whole idea was to just like trash me and you and like go after us personally and attack us. And I remember one of his lines that made no sense. He's like, "I pay for your mom's salary, dude." And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And he was like, you know, he was this caller you had that he lived up in Buffalo, and he would poop in socks and throw it at like Burger King, and he showed videos of it. So it was
McDonald's, but that's all right. Yeah.
Okay, McDonald's. I'm a little off, but what a character, man! Like, just like it was like something about Dirty Sports that you would attract these interesting characters to the show that love to be like, hey, this is what I do. And you know, he was a very controversial guy because he was either hated or loved. Like half your audience is like, fuck this guy, and half the audience is like, this guy is like a god, you know?
Yeah, he was totally polarizing.
Yeah.
He for sure was.
Yeah. I remember too, he'd do these periscopes and he would swim in this like river where he lived, and it looked disgusting. It looked like just sewer, and we used to call it the Shit Sock River. And
oh man,
I hope he doesn't kill me.
Well, I said this recently on an episode. He actually left a call. He called me.
Didn't he show up at your house?
Yeah, he showed up at my house for the pitch. That was pretty funny when we did the opening pitch for the Reds game.
Yeah.
My mom woke me up and was like, "Hey, there's some car parked in front of our street with New York plates, and there's like kids outside in a tent."
Oh my God.
Hey, I have a quick clip. Let's see if this will play of him. He's basically about to cry. This is when he was on the show. I actually had to save somewhere on my computer.
Was I on that one? Or was
this is the epic episode.
Yeah. I mean, this is a wild episode. I mean, he just wants to like he ripped on you harder than me, which I'm surprised, but it was just, it was a dick move because you guys, you had a lot of dirtballs that loved you guys, and he got like to stay with you guys. You guys took him to a baseball game. You guys took him to a bar, and then his way of thanking you was like, and you put him on the show, and the way of thanking you was like, you fucking this, you're this, you're this. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, he was crazy. This is dated May 31st, which would have been Memorial Day weekend, 2017. And I pulled this clip because he's going on a rant how he's so much better than us. But you can see, I'm not a psychologist, but you can hear in the voice, he's on the verge of tears.
Yeah, he's hurting bad.
Because he's projecting.
Yeah.
And I think I have it here. I'm gonna play it if this is what I think it is. This could be funny.
Okay.
Actually believe you're smarter than me? Would you believe that I didn't go to college so I can spend 3 years getting paid in Hawaii? Would you realize that I'm going to get a better education spending those 3 years in Hawaii? Would you realize that I'm making more money than you spending those 3 years in Hawaii, that you are living in this shitty apartment in California? You think I'm joking this whole time? Guess what? I've had a great time my whole life. I've made it a joke, and guess what? That joke is already a better life than you've lived your whole life. You're how old? You said it earlier. You're how old, and I've already lived a better life. God forbid I can kill myself right now and live a better life than you. Oh, but wait, we're still joking? You think it's funny? What isn't funny about this?
I think it's hilarious that you think you grew up in Buffalo, that I live next to the beach.
You lived in the asshole of America. If people wanted to fucking actually kill people, and you want to know what the real Rikers Island was? Cincinnati. That's where you lived. That's where you lived. Keep going. Keep naming places that no one gives a fuck about. You lived in a gated community in fucking asshole of America. Guess what? Guess what I did for fun? I went and had fun. I went and talked to girls. That's what the girls were liking you. 2 fridges. You still think it's a joke? You think I'm joking right now? I am going to spend the next 3 years of my life, no matter what you say in the next 2 minutes, in Hawaii, getting the money that Joanne and Walt spent at the casinos in my paycheck. I'm getting paid, period. And like I said, where I'm going. I'm going to South Korea. Then I'm going to Japan. And you're paying for that the whole time. And wait, keep going. Wait. Now defend yourself, and then I'll keep going.
Wow. Yeah, that's a broken person.
Don't you agree? Like, he's on the verge of tears.
Yeah, he's projecting, and he was a broken person. I think, it's a big moment to get on the show, and I mean, he delivered. I'll tell you that. I mean, not like he didn't make himself look exactly good, but as far as like bringing the juice, he certainly brought the juice. Even though like it was kind of, I was bummed at the time because it was like, you guys gave him a great weekend, and then his whole idea was like, I'm going to shit on the guy that gave me this really good weekend, and that's on him. But, like, I hope he's doing well.
Do you?
Enjoy the shenanigans, and I hope you're doing good there, Poop Sock.
I've actually never played. I've never played that clip. I pulled it. I remember when that happened during the episode. I remember being like, I got to pull this clip.
You probably were shocked, right?
No, I didn't. Dude, he's a child.
But wasn't it weird?
Like I'll admit he did get under my blood. Let's not forget, I did threaten to fuck him up. Like I reached my point that episode. If you go back and listen,
sure,
I literally put down the mic and I confront him. I'm like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah.
Like I definitely was ready to fuck him up because, I mean, you can just hear it in there. It's like, dude, you're shitting on me, and I'm like,
there's 100 kids. Forget that. There's 500 kids that wish they had that kind of weekend and would have not literally, but figuratively sucked your you know what, because it was like, wow, man, you took me to a baseball game. You took me to a bar. I got to be on the show. I mean, that's pretty goddamn, like, that's like the dream weekend of dirty sports. And he got that. And then he goes on the show and he just like shits on you. Crazy.
He left me a voicemail a few years ago, like apologizing.
Yeah.
I think he had learned my parents had passed.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I think he felt bad.
Yeah.
He left it from South Korea.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, your definition of like, you need psychiatric help.
Sure.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was number 4.
That was number 3.
Number 3.
So number 2 will be the Indigo. Was probably referencing. We had a Super Bowl party. It was I had one for the Falcons Patriots. My boy Tom Brady doing GOAT things. And we do the episode, and my girlfriend at the time had a couple of her friends over. And next thing we know, we hear like, and from what I know, they were doing conolingus in my bathroom.
It was two girls.
Yeah, so two girls were going at it in the bathroom, and like Joe's a pretty stoic guy, and he's pretty calm and controlled. But I saw his face, and he was like, oh, like we were all like a little turned on. I gotta say, like it was pretty hot, if you ask me. Like it was bizarre. It was hard to focus.
100%, man.
Yeah, because
100%.
it was loud as fuck. We knew what was going on, and you're like, what do you do? And we had like 5 or 6 guys there. Like B the Indigo was there, a couple other guys were there, and we all were just like, it was like, you ever see American Pie 2 with that stupid scene where the lesbians are like doing stuff and they're on the walkie-talkies? It was kind of like that. I don't need to reference American Pie 2, but that's the only thing I can think of. But it was a wild moment. It was very interesting.
That was definitely, well, that was wild because you had
maybe it was the Eagles. No, it was the Eagles Patriots. My bad.
Yeah, I think it was the Eagles Patriots.
Yeah.
But what was so crazy about that was that also was the first time you invited dirtballs
I
to
know.
your Super Bowl party.
Sure. Yeah. There was like random ones. Who's the guy that lives in the OC? Hispanic dude that loved you guys. I don't know. He's gonna
Jesus.
Jesus, yeah, he was great.
He didn't live in the AC, but yeah, Jesus is great. I
had a kid from Morgan. Morgan came from like Oregon. A dude came from Oregon.
Morgan Grimmett, yeah.
Yeah. The kid who plays video games, shit, man, from Minnesota. He's gonna hate me too that I forgot his name. He's a nice kid.
Pedote? I got into it with him.
Pedote, Matt Pedote. Yes, he was
I got
there.
into it with him in the hot tub.
Yeah, he did. But it was a rocking party. There were some drunk dudes. There were some, and then like we did the podcast later, and then that's when the whole, I guess, licking went on, and it was loud, and it was pretty hot because one of the girls was really attractive.
So yeah, we were trying to do a podcast, and these two girls were hooking up, and it was just, here, let me see if this is the call. Let me see if I found it.
Yo, what's up with it? It's B again. I know everybody was talking about some of their favorite memories or whatever from the podcast. I've been fucking with y'all for years. I don't even remember what year I started listening to y'all, but some of my favorite memories is like it's a lot of them, but some of them, man, like Joe Rance be getting me weak. The Kobe shot challenge was crazy, and like I miss when Joe used to like say Andy, like he got his brain damaged because he was screaming the N-word downtown. That shit used to get me weak, right? And shit, man, bro. Like, there was one more thing. Oh, and when the Eagles won that Super Bowl, that was a shit. That was shitty, but man, it was so funny when them lesbians was going at it. Like while we was recording, like that shit was crazy. I'll never forget that night in that nice ass house. That was a cool ass. I never thought I experienced no shit like that up in LA. So shout out to y'all.
So that's like what, like you go to LA and you're like, you go to a party and then there's lesbians licking each other in the bathroom. Like that's like would be in a movie or something, but it happened and it was loud and it was hot. I'll be the first to say.
I want to get to the bottom. Fredo took that girl home. You think he hooked up with her?
Yeah, well, the funniest thing about that was he was going to give Matt Pedote a ride, and she's like, I need a ride. And he's like, Matt, find your own ride. See ya.
Yeah, I was always wondering. I was like, man, this girl just hooked up with another chick. She's horny. Fredo's giving her a ride home.
Yeah. I wonder if my ex hooked up with them too. Probably. I don't know. But she was acting like she didn't, but I don't know. Who knows? But I wouldn't have cared. But
that's a great story. So that's number 2. That's a good one for Dirty Sports history. What's number 1?
Well, number 1 is going to Vegas with you. I mean, those trips were like we did it a couple years in a row for March Madness. We went one weekend for NFL, but we had a tradition. Like we'd hit this bar in Barstow, which is halfway from LA to Vegas. We hit the Fat Burger, and
Middle of the
then
desert. Yeah.
we would just talk. And you had like the same mixtape, so I have like some of the songs still in my head. And you had your buddies from St. Louis, and they were great. They were some interesting cats. And we would just gamble, and we stayed at the South Point, which they opened these giant banquet rooms of like 1,000 people of just degenerate gamblers. And it was like heaven. It was like fucking great. If you love basketball, you love gambling. It was a wild time, and we would get really high, and that's when you had the fucking dart in your neck thing. And I remember playing poker and just seeing you like wander around the casino high with a backpack on, and you're just like, and I was like, yeah, that's my friend. Because everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with that guy? I'm like, that's my buddy.
Dude, I was walking around the casino for hours with this yellow backpack on, not gambling, just stoned out of my gourd.
Yeah.
And I also always will never forget. First of all, I'd love to do that again. I got to hit up my buddy Jesse.
Yeah.
Guys, if you've ever seen these rooms, literally thousands of people in these like banquet rooms, guys are so lazy, no lie. People come in with massage chairs.
Yep.
And guys have been gambling all day, sitting at tables.
What's the ratio of men to women?
Dude, it's like 99% men.
The only women there were the massage women and the women working the taking the bets.
Or like the beer women.
Remember the guys ordered like those like sexy girls to come in and like just like touch them and stuff?
I think those were escorts,
Pros.
man.
Yeah, it was
intense. Those are professionals.
And guys had shirts. It was like, I remember shirts like good teams win, great teams cover, or like make covering great again, or something stupid like that. It was all about gambling. But there was one. Remember, you guys still use the word cheddar dick?
Yeah, I use it.
Remember the guy that wore the full Wisconsin basketball uniform?
Oh my god, total cheddar dick.
Yeah,
we would get so stoned, and then at
your
night,
buddies were throwing like 500 to $1,000 on a game, and it was
they were putting some serious money down.
And they're so intense. It's like as soon as they give you the halftime lines, they're right. Like they have to bet on everything.
People are sprinting up to the book for that. Yeah, those times were pretty insane. And you and I would stay up. Like I said, I've looked at these old archives. Dude, it's like 3, 4 a.m. and you and I are just so stoned in the hotel room. And you know me, like I am like your classic munchie guy when I get high. And I would just eat and eat and eat. And there's a video where you're bitching. You go, God, Ruth, your fucking farts are terrible.
Yeah, you were passing a lot of wind. Like one night, it was and then the first night, like the first time I went, I had to stay somewhere else, so I got like the worst hotel in Vegas. Like you
were like a Howard Johnson, weren't you?
It was the scariest, like the worst neighborhood. I was freaking out. It was pretty bad. It's like where you either get hookers or drugs. But like for $20 a night, but it was always a blast. It was so much fun. Your friends were really a lot of fun. Like we had a really cool table, and it was just like 12 hours of watching basketball and eating steak and shake. I remember eating steak and shake every day.
Man. And those bathrooms, the bathrooms by the banquet halls were
God. The sounds.
So many dudes.
It's just many and hot dogs and pretzels and
pizza and just dropping bombs in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, so gross.
I mean, they would applaud too. Like I remember when we were there when Virginia lost. They were the #1 seed.
They lost to University of Maryland, Baltimore County there.
Yeah, and people like got up and like gave it a standing ovation, like they're at the opera or something. It was There was moments I questioned my life too, because I remember like being in line for like a bet at like 8:30 in the morning, and you're like, you see these lifers, and I'm like, this is my future, man. Like this is me, man. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, we'll have to do that again. I'll tell you what, one of the things I miss most about living in LA
He's getting to
just being
Vegas.
We'll hop in the car and drive to Vegas.
I remember one thing you always used to say. We drive in the desert, and you'd be like, do you know how many dead bodies are probably buried in here?
I always, I've done the Vegas to LA drive, right? So you figure I lived in Vegas for 2 years, then I moved to LA. So you figure I've probably done the LA to Vegas drive, I don't know, 30, if not more times. I always think about that. I'm like, how many dead bodies are in this desert?
Yeah, probably a lot, man.
Those are good. Those are good memories, Matty.
Yeah, so that's it. But just being on the show, and I thank Joe, and it's great to meet Tug. Tug is great, and Lazarus, all you guys. It's like I feel like I'm a little part of it. Like I'm a part of history, and unfortunately I won't be there. But you guys, I'm so happy for you, and I'm happy to be a part of it and happy to fill in. And there's there were some really great moments from Dirty Sports for sure.
Well, let's pivot to current events with a little football.
Yeah, sure.
And those are thanks for sharing that. Those are all great stories.
Thanks, man.
I want to ask you a question first to start. I want to talk since you're a diehard Patriots guy.
Sure.
Like, what do you think the future is for the New England Patriots and for Bill Belichick?
I think he's gone, and I think somebody will foolishly hire him, like the Chargers or the
foolishly. You think he's done?
He's old, man. I'm a big, like we were talking before the show, I'm a big quarterback guy, and I always was like it was Brady, and look, he'll go to a team that obviously has a chance to win, like the Chargers or the Bills, possibly, but I don't know how much of an upgrade he's really going to be. I think Washington is a very bad spot because I think that team needs a lot of work. But like for the Patriots, the fans are very spoiled. They got 20 years of like incredible shit, and now they're living like most teams live. Like this is, most of the NFL deal with bad teams, a mess of a quarterback situation, and it's just, this is like if you're a Patriot fan, you're crying. It's like, dude, you had it good for teams would kill. You don't think the Browns fans would kill to have what you guys had or a quarter of what you had?
We'll never see an era like that ever.
No.
I don't think we will.
So, I mean, it's just a bad thing, and they could get lucky if they get a good draft pick and they get the right quarterback. There's a couple good guys coming out. I think they should draft a quarterback. But I do think it would be nice to have a change. I look at like even Robert Saleh of the Jets, like as bad as Zach Wilson played, every week he'd go on the podium and say nice things about him. And that helps a little. And like Belichick never says anything nice about Mac Jones. Not that he's played good, but there's just little things you do to keep it positive, to give a guy assurance that he's your guy. I mean, there's really no assurance, and it's a tough spot. I don't believe Mac Jones is that good, but he is the odds are stacked against him. They really are.
Well, I don't think Bill Belichick is washed. I don't agree with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the pedigree. Obviously, he's got the accolades. I don't think you just suddenly lose it as a coach, right? If he went to the Chargers, right, which is what I want, and he has a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think he can turn that defense around. Like, why? See, I think the opposite. What tells me that he couldn't? Because he has the resume that says that he would. Why wouldn't he turn?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But I was just thinking of like the show today. I was gonna go into like how a bad coach in the NFL has a really good quarterback and a bad record. So we obviously know Staley's a bad coach because he's got a really good quarterback, and not many teams have a quarterback, and they have a bad losing record. They played really bad last night. They're underachieving. And so, yeah, I mean, a quarterback definitely is like a situation where you want to go to as a coach. But, I don't know if Belichick's way works anymore. I really don't know. I can't really say it. Maybe I'm being really disrespectful to him, but
No, look. Obviously, that's your opinion. I think this
Yeah.
much though. I think the respect that he has because of what he's done.
sure.
I know what you're saying about like his way. That's not kind of how coaches run things.
Yeah.
The guys are more player friendly, but I think anywhere he would go, he brings that of like, dude, I'm Bill Belichick. I have the most rings of any coach ever.
Yeah.
I have all these wins. He's going to bring that level of respect to his team. So go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you take a team like Buffalo or San Diego who have a quarterback and you're like, can he get him over the hump? Like, I'm all for getting rid of Sean McDermott. I think he needs to go. They have a stud quarterback. They have a lot of talent. They're underachieving. They lose to a lot of bad teams. They have too many stupid penalties. They can't finish games. So if you bring in a Belichick, you're like, okay, he's going to fix that. And I think he's got a good shot. I think, San Diego's a good spot for him, but I probably think Buffalo is the best spot
I
for
like
him
how you
to
call
try
it
to
San Diego.
prove.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, LA, my bad.
I know.
It's so hard to think to the LA
I know.
Chargers.
I know it's weird. So
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you think the Bills. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I was so big on like my thing of Josh Allen is, dude, you turn the ball over too much, man.
And you get a coach that can fix that. I mean, I think Sean Payton has fixed Russell Wilson in the sense of the turnovers are way down, the playing hero ball is way down, and it took a few games. So it's like if you get the right guy in there, you can fix him. And the last 2 games with the new offensive coordinator, they're much better. And I like Joe Brady a lot as the OC. So you see the improvement. Like, he didn't lose the game yesterday. He did all he could do yesterday. It's just they find ways to lose. And it goes back to 9 seconds versus the Chiefs. Like, how do you fuck that up? I know Pat Mahomes is special, but come on. And these are games they lose. And it's like, all right, let's bring in somebody else to fix that. And I think that's probably Belichick's best spot. But, hey, maybe LA Chargers will offer him a lot of shit and he'll go there. But
so you alluded to
I think
Sean
he's done
Payton.
in New England. Yeah.
You alluded to Sean Payton, and I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
The Broncos have now won 5 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson's doing things he did in Seattle where he's not being asked to do too much.
No.
He hasn't thrown an interception, I believe, in all 5 of those wins.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got a 20 touchdown to 4 interception ratio. He's only 21st in the league in passing yards. So he's not throwing that many yards.
No.
Do you think Sean Payton is turning it around for him? And do you think that's possible to work?
When you because you get a veteran coach, and like he cleaned it up. When you heard the quote when he was like, "Stop with the fucking dangerous and this and shit," like stop running for office, just play fucking quarterback. And they gutted the team. Like, losing 70-20 was humiliating, and they've turned it around. And they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but hey, they beat the Chiefs. They're a solid team now, and he's a good coach. I mean, he's obviously better than Nathaniel Hackett, who is a joke. So
Joe, we've had a lot of discussion about Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Is he overrated?
I think he's a very good coach.
But is he overrated? You could be a good coach and still be overrated.
I think he's rated right where he should be.
He's rated properly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Russell Wilson, obviously we've had.
I wouldn't put him like, here's the guys. I wouldn't put him up. I think is the best coach, Andy Reid, in my opinion, because he's won with so many different quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
He's won with Vic. He's won with Alex Smith. Kind of. They made the playoffs. They won 10 games a couple times, and now they're doing great things with Patrick Mahomes. I wouldn't put him at that level. I put him a little below that. I'm trying to think of a guy comparable to him, and I can't.
Is he like a Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, very good coach. I mean, they have a great D, but no offense, but they just find ways to win. Great coach, and he handled Antonio Brown for 10 years. We didn't know how crazy Antonio Brown was. So he got him to show up for about not 10 years, but a good 6 years.
Yeah.
So very good coach. And he's got a ring.
Do you think Russell Wilson will make the Hall of Fame?
Gosh. Will Joe show up? If he does.
That's funny.
Um,
let me put this way. I
borderline.
think statistically, if he stays the path that he is right now with Sean Payton,
Yeah.
he will, because he'll be in top
Very
10 in a lot of
close.
things.
I mean, I got to say, watching Stafford yesterday, I'm like, he's a Hall of Famer.
Stafford's an interesting one because
Yeah.
he doesn't have like the personal Pro Bowls like a Russell Wilson, but he's going to have the stats. He had a great fourth quarter Super Bowl winning drive.
Yeah.
Sean McVay's such a good coach, man.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where coaching matters. You know, we talk about Mike Tomlin. They have no offense. They're 7-4. And that's
They
been
find
my
ways to win.
they find ways to win. And that's been my number one gripe. The Dirtballs know. Everybody in Cincinnati knows. My number one gripe on Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor's a JV coach. He's a junior varsity coach.
Well, like I said to you too, it's like it's such a quarterback league that you aren't so good when Joe Burrow's not doing Joe Burrow things. Like you're very pedestrian. It's like quarterbacks can make very average coaches be legendary.
Yeah, but he's not even an average coach. My argument is we just talked about him.
Yeah.
I agree. Quarterbacks make guys look good. Dude, the Steelers are 7-4 with Kenny Pickett playing.
And that's one of the greatest coaching jobs ever. I gotta say, Mike Tomlin's amazing, but if you look at like your guy Zach Thomas, first
Zach
year
Taylor.
where they go like Zach Taylor, they go 1-14, 2-15,
2-14, yeah, 2-14.
So as soon as Burrow gets going, Super Bowl, the Rams were very good. They were a very solid team, so that was a tough loss. And then they had a very tough loss. They probably should have won last year. So like he got to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game.
But
and
he
now
didn't. See, that's where I'm going to correct you. He didn't. He didn't do shit.
I understand, but now with Jake Browning, they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Just like it goes from here to there. I mean, they just
but it
they
doesn't.
beat the
But
49ers.
that's where. But it does. Look at the 49ers, dude. They have a good coach. They win with backups. Look right now with Josh Dobbs. Look at Minnesota. They're winning with a backup. The Browns are winning with backups. Plenty of teams across the league win with backups if they have an identity. And that's something I wanted to bring up on this episode.
Sure.
The Bengals' identity is Joe Burrow, and that's a problem. That's you know why that's a problem? Because you're so reliant on one guy, and I love Joe Burrow because he's proven me wrong in all my bets. I've lost. How many bets did I lose that year when they made the Super Bowl? I lost one to you.
I think you hedged up, right?
No, I didn't hedge that year. I let it roll.
Yeah. I took some money from you.
You took money from me, and I was wrong because
Yeah.
Joe. I think Joe Burrow is that
He's a
guy.
stud, but he's got it's hard for him to stay on the field. But
he's injury prone.
He's a stud.
But that's my point. My point is the Steelers have an identity. Whether they have Kenny Pickett or Ben Roethlisberger or Charlie Batch or whoever's filling in, they're going to play defense and they're going to be good.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens have an identity. The Cincinnati Bengals don't have one. Their identity is Joe Burrow. So I see a lot of shit locally. Obviously, I live here. And every dumbass Bengals fan, I shouldn't say every, but a lot of the people who drink the Kool-Aid, or they'll say, fucking Zach Taylor's changed the culture. No, he didn't. Joe
That's
Burrow
what I feel
changed.
about Belichick. That's what I feel about Brady and Belichick.
Yeah, but it's not to that level. Joe Burrow changed the culture.
I disagree. I think it's the same exact thing.
But you know why it's not?
Why?
Statistically, it's not even close. We did this before the show. Let me just say, Zach Taylor is 4-20 without Joe Burrow starting. That's a 20% winning percentage.
Bill Belichick was 5-11 the first year of the Patriots, 0-2. So he's 5-13 before Brady takes us.
Yeah, but let's do his full career. He's like 72 and like 90.
Yeah.
Now it's not the best. It's not 4-20.
But in all fairness to Zach Taylor, Burrow is really good, and the guys he's had to work with are. I mean, Jake Browning is a practice squad football player at best.
Agreed.
I don't. He hasn't gotten like a mediocre start. He hasn't had like a Ryan Fitzpatrick who's a good player. I mean, he hasn't really. It's been Burrow or just garbage you know, and
But
tanking
that's
was
why
the best thing he
but
did.
that's my point about the organization. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is they don't have an identity. They're still garbage. My point is everyone in Cincinnati drank the Kool-Aid, and I didn't. I said Joe Burrow is the guy. It's all Joe Burrow. Everyone drank the Kool-Aid, and my buddy always says, and I think he's right in this. My buddy always says, and you'll agree with this, I think. He goes, dude, it's all about luck and when you suck, right?
Yeah.
Like the Bengals sucked at the right time to get Joe
Yeah.
Burrow. They
It's
could have
so
sucked
true.
a different year to get Baker
Here got
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Yep.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
like nothing changed within that organization where that's why I'm so
Well,
critical.
they lucked out and they got a stud, and the coach that got him lucks out because it makes his
100%.
job easier. And I feel that way with Belichick, and people are going to say I'm crazy, but
I think you are crazy.
okay. Because
think-
they're again 5-13. Then they go on this crazy run, and now
They also went 11-5 with Matt Castle.
I know you're going to say that, but they had a 16-0 team. That's my defense. They had a loaded team. They had Moss. They had Welker. They won 18-1 the year before. So they probably would have gone 15-1, 14-2 that year if Brady was healthy. But and Matt Castle had a good year with Kansas City. But I know that's the one thing that everybody always says. But look, he goes to the Bucs. They win the Super Bowl. Look at the Bucs now. Nobody cares about the Bucs. I'm done with the Brady stuff. It's very similar to Cincinnati because what you're seeing is, Burrow changed the culture. Guys want to go there not for Zach Taylor. They want to go there for Joe Burrow. Like
100%.
Free agents don't go, oh, Zach Taylor's a coach.
But to me, it's not similar. Here's why.
Yeah.
Dude, he made the playoffs with the Browns, Belichick. Like, it's not
Sure.
right. You made the playoffs with the Browns.
Yeah. One
again,
time.
like big deal.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor's 4-20.
You just hate Zach Taylor.
I don't hate him. Here's what he is.
Yeah.
He's not a good coach. He has no right coaching in the NFL.
Who do you want in there?
What's that?
Who do you want? If you could have a coach, would you take Ben Johnson? Would you take Belichick?
Anybody. Manny, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I take any of those guys.
Sure.
So Taylor calls the plays, and he's a notoriously poor play caller.
Yeah.
Name any coach in the league who gets hired that was a quarterback's coach. My point is, he was the quarterback's coach. It was the classic Bengal move, cheap hire. And I want to go back to Belichick though for a second.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and I think it takes two. I think it takes Brady and Belichick to win all his titles. But dude, he made the playoffs with Mac Jones as a rookie. Like,
that was a good year. And
I'm just saying, like.
No, I know what you're saying. It's fallen apart, and he has had some success, but they did get smashed by the Bills that year.
They got absolutely destroyed. I'm just saying, you made. We see how shitty Mac Jones is right now, and I don't think Mac Jones is going to really turn around. He still made the playoffs with Mac Jones as a rookie. That's
true.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, Zach Taylor, you really can't tell because he came in a bad situation, and now all his success is from Joe Burrow. And when you luck out and you get that number one pick that actually is good. I mean, you look at the NFL now and you see like Frank Reich getting fired, and a lot of it probably has to do with like there was two quarterbacks, 1 and 2, and we took the wrong guy. And not only did we take the wrong guy, but we traded a lot of great fucking draft picks and a really great player in DJ Moore for the wrong quarterback.
Well, that owner in Carolina, David Tepper, he's an idiot. That I believe is he owns the MLS team too. He's fired between the NFL and the MLS team. He's fired 4 coaches in 18 months.
Sure.
He's your classic.
Yeah.
I would say he's your classic billionaire who needs to stay out of it. Dude, you don't know football. You don't know sports. You obviously are a smart businessman.
Some guys can't.
They can't. That's Jerry Jones's problem.
Yep. And they're the same team. I mean, I never get impressed by them. I think there's a thing called now it's called signature wins. And it's things like the Dolphins are missing one. The Cowboys. It's like Philadelphia, you can't knock them. They go into Kansas City, they win. They shouldn't have beat Buffalo. They win. They have signature wins. And then there's certain teams that you just don't believe in, like Dallas or Miami, because it's like you got to win a game that you shouldn't win.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I was gonna Get to that.
Yeah.
Tug calls them paper tigers, and we always use that. We like Tug's term
Yeah.
for teams like that. The Cowboys are still paper tigers to me. You've never beaten anybody good. Same thing for the Dolphins. Beat a team with a winning record. And for me, that's why neither of those guys are legit Super Bowl contenders. My only Super Bowl contenders right now, nothing has changed for me. It's from the NFC, it's the Eagles and the Niners. And from the AFC, it's the Chiefs and maybe Baltimore.
Sadly, this is one of those years where it just doesn't feel like there's that team that is so dominant. Like the 49ers looked at like at the beginning of the year, and the Eagles kind of like they haven't really hit that like where they're just dominating. They're winning a lot of close games, and it just seems like one of those years where unfortunately the Chiefs are going to win again because Pat Mahomes just has enough to finish the job.
When you say win the Super Bowl or make it to the Super Bowl.
Win the Super Bowl, unfortunately. I don't want to see him do it. I can't stand them. I can't stand the Kelsey brothers. I can't stand Travis Kelsey. I'm on board. Like, I never had a problem with T Swift until she ruined football for a few weeks with her garbage bullshit. Like, I'll never forget, like, Ivan Pacheco, a Jersey kid, fucking gets his first touchdown coming home to the Meadowlands, and it's like a big moment. And what do they show? They show T Swift. And I'm like, get this fucking asshole off my fucking TV. I think the NFL, they wised up real fast. Like, you just saw the comments. Like,
well, I don't think they did. She's on tour. I don't think they wised up.
Yeah.
She's just
She'll
not
be
there.
back. It would be a nice moment, though, if she was at the Super Bowl and the Chiefs lost and she was crying. I think everybody would love that.
So you think the Chiefs – see, I don't – put the Chiefs as favorites to win the Super Bowl. I definitely put them as the favorites to make it from the AFC.
Yeah.
I really like the Niners. I know they had that 3-game skid, but dude, when the Niners are playing the way
they're healthy, they're sick.
Ah.
When they got Debo going and McCaffrey and Purdy does the job and their defense got better with Chase Young, I mean, yeah, I thought like, wow, they're going to win the Super Bowl, and then they went on a 3-game losing streak, but I think they fixed it, and they probably edge out the Eagles a little right now. It's just like, the only team that can give the Chiefs maybe a game are the Dolphins. And I'm just not Tua is like one of those guys that beats up on bad teams and then kind of has very bad games against good teams where he doesn't, just ball out.
What about the Ravens and the Jags from the AFC?
I like the Ravens a lot. The problem is with them is like they've had bad playoff runs. So, the 1 year they were supposed to 2019, they had a loaded team, first seed in there. They got shelled fast. People are like,
Lamar's MVP year, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't really know because they haven't done well in the playoffs when they've made it. But their defense is sick. Lamar's playing great. They add all these great weapons on as wide receiver. I mean, their wide receivers are great. Flowers has been great, Bateman, and then Odell's been really good.
Brandon's boy.
Yeah. So they lost Andrews. That's going to hurt them, but
yeah.
I mean, I think they'll give Kansas City a game. I just worry about Harbaugh sometimes that he overthinks and he'll start going for fourth downs when he shouldn't. They've done that a few times against the Chiefs, thinking they got to score a lot of points. But yeah, they can do it.
What about the Jags, though, man?
Jags, I like. I just don't think they're ready this year, but
they're not there yet.
They're a year or two away. But I thought, it's wild. It's like usually the AFC South is the shittiest division. I never really watched those games, but I was watching Jacksonville and Houston was a great game. It was one of the better games of the week.
Yeah, man. CJ Stroud is, I think he's the real deal.
Can I talk about the great Tommy DeVito?
Go for it.
I love him. I think this is the wildest shit ever. Did you ever see the movie Basketball?
Yeah, of course.
So remember, like, they're playing, like, teams, and they're all, like, stereotypes, and they play a team from, like, New Jersey, and they're all, like, Guidos, and they're wearing, like, wife beaters and shit.
Yeah.
He is, like, if your home team had, all guys that played that were actually from the home team, he's kind of like that because he's a total like Jersey Italian guy. Like, did you see his father with like they do this and everything? It's wild. It's like because like we get so involved. Like how many guys on the Bengals are actually from Cincinnati?
Yeah, not that many.
Probably zero. Probably zero on any team.
No,
You know, maybe one or two guys.
Yeah, there's a few.
So like it's wild to see like he's the most stereotypical. Like he lives with his mom. She makes him feel scallopini. It's fucking great. I mean, I don't know how long he's gonna last, but you know what? Like,
well, I know Prado's not liking it, right? He wants to lose all the games to get a higher pick.
Yeah, well, that was a sloppy ass game, but I bet on the Giants, so I bet against my Patriots, so I was happy. He's fun to watch because it's like he's such an underdog, and he's a Jersey guy.
Yeah. I'm watching we started watching.
That's like if like the Rams quarterback was like an actor and he had like auditions or something, or like Boston, the Patriots had like their quarterback was like the biggest mass hole of all time,
Yeah. Well,
it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I was about to say we started watching the what is it on Netflix? Getting Gotti.
Yeah.
Speaking of Italian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course. I watched the first episode.
Did you?
When I lived in New York, I grew up there. I used to tell people, which is obviously a lie. I used to tell them that my uncle was John Gotti when I was in high school.
Bro,
just
you
for
couldn't,
shits and giggles.
Dude, did they believe you?
No. But I was like, yeah, my uncle's John Gotti. And they're like, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, I swear to God.
You look so Jewish. like would anybody think you're Italian?
No, but that was the funny part about it. Because I'm like, dude, you better not like make fun of me because my uncle's John Gotti and he'll fucking smoke you. And they're like, yeah, right. I'm like, I'll call him right now.
Who's calling you right now?
I don't fucking know. I should put my phone on silent.
Yeah. Well, while you do that, guys.
Yeah.
We're talking all these NFL games. The thing I love to do when I am watching NFL games is crush Butcher Box. And more importantly, I love to crush their wings. Matty, I absolutely love chicken wings when I'm watching games.
Me too.
Right? Like you can't beat chicken wings while you're watching games.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
They've gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
Like like I want to order wings. I can't. It's almost like a shortage of wings or something.
Well, guess what? This is where this comes in. It's funny you say that because I've been crushing Butcher Box and their wings because right now, Dirtballs, if you sign up today at butcherbox.com/dirty and use code dirty, you get free chicken wings for a year.
Damn.
Yeah.
And they're good, right?
They're great. Free chicken wings for a year. I throw them in the air fryer.
Yeah.
Put a little barbecue sauce on them. So that's 3 pounds of free range organic chicken wings in every order for a year when you sign up at butcherbox.com/dirty and use code dirty. To me, nothing goes better with football than chicken wings on Sunday. Dip them in a little blue cheese. Guys, free for a year. So once again, sign up at butcherbox.com/dirty and use code dirty to get free chicken wings for a year.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, that really is one of my go-tos. I love me some chicken wings while I'm watching the games. Now, are you a blue cheese or are you a
you know what?
ranch?
I'm one of the weirdest guys. I use no sauce.
No sauce.
I love buffalo wings, but no like blue cheese or I don't like that. I just go straight for the fucking. I love wings though.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh God, football wings, you can't get better than that.
Yeah.
You guys don't talk any college, huh?
You can talk a little college.
Saturday was amazing. I mean, there was 3 incredible games like back to back to back. I mean,
I just can't get into it, man.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, it will get better when there's a 12 team playoff, but it's been a good year.
But for me, it's just such a fraud. Like, if the whole thing is a sham,
yeah.
Like, how can I get into it? Now, I did
Well,
watch
what's
the end.
sham part?
What's the sham part? The NCAA. Like, the NFL has its problems, but like the NCAA as an institution is the biggest joke ever. Like
See, I
you know
don't
the
give a fuck. I just like the I just like the action.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I like March Madness. That's enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's like if there's only 4 teams that can make it. Now, don't get me wrong. I did put on the end of that
Alabama.
Alabama Auburn game was insane.
Yeah, and that was insane. 4th and 30. I had the over, and it hit on that play, and I was like, I lost the bet. Now, do I bet a lot of money? We make fun of me. I put $20 on it. That's a good amount for Matty G. But like, I won on that last play, so that was beautiful. But it was, I was ready to rip up the ticket. But then the game with Washington and Washington State, I mean, that was intense. And then Michigan beating Ohio State. It was a great game. I mean, I love the NFL more, but the NFL, like, obviously everybody's talking about the officiating. Like, I mean, the Buffalo-Philly game, there was a lot of fucking calls against the Bills, and it like makes you think, but I just don't want to go there all the time,
Well, my thing with college is, and I said this before last week, like neither Michigan nor Ohio State have played that many good teams this year, and they're always ranked high. Yeah. So my point is, like, I can't get into your sport if you're already start the year in a top 5 and you haven't beaten anybody to really prove that you're good. Why are you a top 5 team? That's where I struggle a lot with the sport.
It's wild how many cupcakes they put at the beginning of the year, because the first 2 or 3 games you don't play in your conference, and you can schedule any game, and it sucks that Michigan and I'm kind of a bandwagon Michigan guy, but yeah, they schedule the easiest games in the world, and I'm totally against that. It used to not be like that. They used to play like Notre Dame like the second week of the year, and they're not in their conference. It was a lot tougher. Now they play like Middle Tennessee State or some garbage Hawaii, and it's just like they're glorified scrimmages. And next year will be different because the Pac-12 is going into the Big Ten, so you got to play USC, you got to play Washington, you got to play Oregon. I mean, Oregon is a fucking good team. I might put some money on a future on them.
Well, and also, I want to bring up the Harbaugh thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've laughed. Dude, people are acting like he was wrongly accused of murder and he's on death row. Like the notion, Matt, and I've said this on the show, the notion that Jim Harbaugh had no clue about a guy who's literally, I don't know if you've watched the video and seen pictures.
Sure, I've seen a
literally
little bit.
on the sidelines of all these games. He had no clue. And
there's videos of like them knowing like the whole bench is this.
Yes. I played him on this show. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like the notion that, like, dude, I watched the very end of that game. I fell asleep. I was taking a nap because my daughter was sleeping. So I was like, I'm going to try to catch some Z's now.
Yeah.
The reaction with those Michigan players is hilarious.
It's like Harbaugh died.
Yeah, we did this for Coach Jim. Like he's dying of cancer.
I know.
Dude, he's a fucking cheater. And by the way, I love Harbaugh. I think you should go back to the NFL. I love Harbaugh.
I think he'll be back next year.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both Harbaugh brothers. I think they're both great coaches. It's like, I'm a fan of Harbaugh's. He knew something was going on. And these guys get on the podium, and then the guy filling in, the interim coach, I'm like, we did this. And they're all crying. I'm like, you're a bunch of fucking cheaters.
Well, the dumb thing about it is for 9 of the 10 games, you can literally line up and beat the other team. Like, your talent is so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So, like, you only really need to cheat for, like, maybe 2 or 3 games. You can literally line up and run the ball every game and just manhandle all these teams for the most part, except for maybe Ohio State and going into the playoffs. And, yeah, it is weird because when you get caught, you first are like, you deny it. And then when there's a lot of evidence, then you're like, well, I can't really talk about it. That's how it goes.
Will he coach in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's going to coach this Saturday. As of now.
So who's the best team this year?
Georgia's pretty damn good, but it's hard to win all these games. I really think Oregon is coming on. I think they're going to beat Washington. I feel bad for Washington because they're a fun team, but to beat Oregon twice is going to be really hard, and they're kind of just getting by somehow in these games. And I think Oregon is like, in my opinion, I think they have a really good chance to win it all. Like
Oregon, who's never
or
won it
Georgia.
all.
Yeah. I'm going to go Oregon. I think Nick's has been sick. Their defense has been good. Their coach is a total douchebag, but
Oh my God.
yeah, the whole thing with Dion was just so stupid. They're here for clicks. We're here for wins. That was so cheesy. I'm like, you're doing it on TV. You know what you're doing, dude. You're here for clicks too, buddy. I mean, that speech is, yeah.
Brandon did a great riff on that. He's like, Oregon, here for clicks. You guys literally are founded like Nike. All you all guys are is clicks and uniforms, and you're backed by Nike. And like at Joe's point, which was funny, I think that's the title of the episode. Oregon was the original Colorado with all their Nike stuff.
Sure. And they wear like 8 different uniforms this season.
Yeah.
They should just go back to the classic. I love like the classic green and yellow from like the 80s and 90s. That's my favorite variation of them. But
I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal. It was talking about like Washington State, and it's just sad. Like Washington State and Oregon State with the Pac-12 basically dissolving.
They have no home.
It's like, but see, that's why I have problems with college football. It's like, at the end of the day, these are universities, and they don't give a shit about education.
No,
like
we got to just be honest that they're there for football.
They're there for football, but not just that. My point is the universities in general, dude, you're literally a money-making, you're tax exempt. You don't actually care about a higher.
I could care less if any of these fucking kids go to class. I couldn't give a shit. Just do your thing, buddies. Like, you're there for football. They should just be honest about it. Like, do what you got to do. But, like, we know they're not, taking real classes. They're there for football. And they do a good job, and they sacrifice their bodies and shit. And I don't care. I just think the games are good, man. On Saturday I was entertained. Sunday I was entertained. I do got to say, YouTube is doing a great job with the ticket. The four squares is amazing.
Oh, YouTube TV? Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
It's so much better. It's helping me gamble because I get to see all the fucking games.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I never watched like Arizona or Seattle, and now you watch them every week, and you're like, oh, well, there's things here, there's things there that I never seen.
I know. What do you think about the Lions, man?
God, that was a tough loss. It's like you root for them, you want them to win, you have fun with them, but like the defense is just getting worse and worse. It's just like the defense is regressing, and it seems like Goff now is regressing a little. And they're in like a kind of a tough spot. I mean, they'll win their division. I think they're going to be okay there. But like, as far as
do they win a playoff game? Do they win a playoff game?
It's going to be.
If they win their division, they're going to have a home playoff game.
Yeah, and it'll be close. And it'll be like the Vikings last year, where they kind of came out of nowhere and they had a bad game versus the Giants. So they got to do something good this year, because I think losing Ben Johnson, which they will lose, like, I don't know what will happen after that, because he does seem like an offensive genius that Campbell's smart enough to like put it in his hands. And when they lose that, it's going to be really fucking tough.
Are they if you're ranking the worst overall organizations, now I'm not saying this year.
Yeah.
Are the Lions still a leader based on their history?
No. I mean, it
then
just
who
seems
is?
like it reminds me of the movie Major League. They're kind of like the Major League story where they're the worst team. They're embarrassing. They went 0-16, and then this guy comes in and it like turns it around. The whole city's going nuts. But you got to finish the job, And
yeah, but you didn't answer my question. Then who? I'm talking right now, because to me, until you win a playoff game, the Browns won one recently. The Bengals have made a push recently. I'd argue the worst overall. We just talked about Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson retiring. I'd say the Lions are still number one.
The Jets are pretty bad. I mean, the Jets are cursed.
True.
And it's like this year, not to have a backup plan if Aaron Rodgers got hurt was pretty embarrassing. And they had a lot of talent. They had the hard knocks. It was a great 4 episodes. You're hyped up. You want to root for them. You want to root for Aaron Rodgers. And just the way that like the season has gone down, it's like the same old bullshit Jets, you know? And I think they could be the worst
Do you
right
think
now.
they fire Robert Saleh?
See, it's tough because I believe he turned the defense down. I mean, he turned the defense around. So it's like, how do you fire a guy? I mean, you had a plan. You had Aaron Rodgers, and like that look on his face when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, like it haunts me in my head. It looked like George Bush when he found out about 9/11.
Ironically, that game was played on 9/11 too.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember the look on his, like, it was like the whole place, like they hyped this up. You watch Hard Knocks. It was like the Aaron Rodgers show. And then bang, you're back to Zach Wilson, who
Dude, about the Jets making the Super Bowl, I'd bought in that hard.
they could have. Their defense is sick. They've given up, but their defense has been incredible. For them to win 4 games, Zach Wilson is the worst quarterback I've ever seen.
What happens to Zach Wilson?
He'll probably be a backup for a few years and then be a male model or something. I don't know. He just doesn't have any fucking brains. He's like, you have to be somewhat intelligent to play quarterback. He just doesn't have any sort of like feel for the game.
Yeah. It's sad,
crazy
man.
how bad he is. And the thing about him is like, if you just like put him on a field, he can do like crazy shit that Pat Mahomes can do. He just can't figure out the game, like the easy throws, the easy reads, the controlling the game. He just doesn't understand it.
It's tough to watch, and also, like you said, the
Yeah.
hype around them. You're just like, man,
It's
this
bizarre.
This is rock bottom.
It's the worst nightmare that can happen because you put all your eggs on Aaron Rodgers. He's coming to New York. You got a top 5 quarterback of all time to save your team. You got a lights out D. You got a young running back. You got a great young wide receiver. And then in like 4 plays, you're back to Zach Wilson. It's like, it's over.
All right, so give me your Super Bowl. Who plays?
See, I hate the Chiefs, but gun to my head right now, I'm going to say Chiefs and 49ers. But I do think like the Eagles 49ers, if they play in the conference championship, it comes down to a field goal.
Did you see the Niners are right now favorites
Yeah.
in Philly this week?
Yeah.
Early 3-point favorites.
I love the 49ers there. You know what I learned? The one thing I learned about, and it's helping me gambling, even though the Urban Meyer documentary sucked and was just a fluff piece on him.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it.
What I realized was the games that they win and the games that they lose. Sorry, I'm just watching the Vikings and Bears. The games that I win and the games that they lose are all revenge games from the next year. So like when they lose to a team, they spend all like off season like we're gonna fucking beat that team next year. And the teams they lost to, they beat the year before pretty good. So I know like the 49ers have this game on their calendar. I know that the Eagles had the Chiefs game on their calendar, so they were gonna win. It's so hard for the Eagles to win this game. To win 3 tough games in a row ain't gonna happen. 49ers had an easy game on Thanksgiving, coming in with a couple extra days rest. Put your money on the 49ers. And the Eagles are a great team.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. They shouldn't have beat the Bills.
I know it's crazy that Jalen Hurts is still the MVP fave, and he just has so many damn turnovers.
You know, he's playing hurt, and he just finds ways to win. Though I gotta.
Yeah, he does.
He's awesome. And the thing is, like when he got benched in college, I thought he was terrible, and I thought he was awful. And I've never seen a guy. You know, when usually a guy gets benched in college, they're done. Not only did he get better, he got incredible. You know, he took it and he had a good attitude. You saw him on the sidelines helping out Tua, and now he is what he is. And I hate to say he's really, really good.
No, he is. It's a great success story, especially dealing with adversity.
Yep.
Well,
Matty,
it's
hard to get benched. It's humiliating.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was great to be back with you. I just want to wish you guys a happy 1000 show, and much love to Joe and Tug and all the other boys and Andy and a couple other guys and the interns from back in the day. Scabelli, always a sweet guy. Nick D'Alessandro is a genius. I think he's got a really big job with the Jazz or something.
Yeah, he works for Utah Jazz.
Incredible. There was another kid, Nick. What was his name? I forget his name. He was a good looking kid. I forget his name. Yeah, Trevor. Yeah, you say that with such disdain. But it's been a good ride, and he who cannot be named, much love, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy. And
how great is that clip? How great was that clip?
It's incredible. There's so much going on. It's like a man breaking down, and like so sadly unaware that he's crying for help, even though he's insulting you.
Oh, 100%.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Did you know the story about the dirtball who totaled a car on my parents'
Yeah, I know
street,
that story. Yeah.
and then totaled his car into a telephone pole?
Yeah, on your street.
I never told my parents about that.
Jeez.
Yeah,
didn't they knock the power out of the whole street or something?
No, but it was a classic memory. I'll tell you what, man, it's coming up, and Dirtballs, if you want to be a part of it, 1000th episode, the live taping is in New Orleans, December 16th. We're less than 3 weeks away. I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to host 2 comedy shows. We're going to have a live podcast before that. Prano's going to headline the comedy shows. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about.
Are you guys going to the Giants and Saints?
Yeah, we're going to go to the Giants and Saints game the next day.
You're going to bring out the Italian flag, have a little chicken scallopini, chicken parmigiana for our boy Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, we should.
Have you seen his father?
You know what? I'll be honest. Since Tommy DeVito started playing, I really haven't watched the Giants that much.
You got to look up his father tailgating. It's wild. Like he's got the cigar.
Oh my, bro.
See?
He's doing the Italian move.
Yeah, right?
Oh, bro, this is unbelievable.
I told you.
This is hilarious. Oh, yeah.
How can you not root for the guy?
Where did he go to college?
He went to Syracuse, and then he transferred to Illinois for like the COVID year. He had a decent career. I mean, I remember him playing. He was a little undersized, and he was like a decent college quarterback, but you're not like he's a pro prospect.
Yeah.
But he's making the most of his opportunity. I think he can be like a Taylor Heineke type guy for 6 to 8 years.
Hey man, that's a nice little career.
And his dad can be like, my son played on my home Giants. Like how many guys can say that their kid played on the home team?
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
a great
story. Even though they're winning.
Where can people find you? You're on Instagram still.
Yeah, at Matty Goldberg. I got off Twitter because I think it's just very
it's toxic.
It was toxic in the sense where it's just people arguing. Like people have one side and the other side, and they're just like, fuck you. And it's like nothing ever gets done. I'm like, I gotta get out of this world. So I'm on Instagram. I like putting up dog pictures and food pictures. Maybe I'll put up a picture of my beef and broccoli tonight, which I'm going to try to make, which will probably fail. At Matty Goldberg, very simple. That's probably the best place. I'm on Threads, but I never use it. I don't know anybody who uses Threads. But at Matty Goldberg on Instagram and say hello. I mean, I always get nice messages from dudes. It's pretty cool.
Well, Matty, it's been a pleasure. Glad
Absolutely.
to have you, and glad we could do this. Thanks for your patience, guys. Like I said, just dealing with some things at home with baby girl. So
yeah,
I think Joe will be live with me on Thursday from Hawaii.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so I think he'll be back.
Which island is he on? The main one? I don't even know.
It's like I asked him a time difference. I think it's
5 hours from you. Are you in the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm in the East Coast technically,
Yeah.
so I know.
I gotta
Pano is-
visit, man. I gotta fucking visit. I've
We get
never
more
been
than
to
enough.
Cincinnati.
We get more than
So-
enough room here.
Yeah.
Baby girl needs to meet Uncle Matty.
Yeah, Uncle Matty. I got a niece and a nephew. I know the struggle. My niece and nephews were sick from like one, you go to school, it's just like germs city and always sick, always getting their parents sick. It's just part of the game, man.
Yeah,
Like, it's
no, it is. It is. We're trying to like I was telling my girl, I was like, we just gotta survive through this shit and
Yeah.
deal with it. But you
Unfortunately,
gotta
it's gonna
visit.
be a few more years, but it's worth it,
Well,
It's-
the good news is they just legalized marijuana here too, Matty. So
Oh yeah.
when you visit, that should be up and running.
Yeah, I do the edibles at night. I watch my Stuttering John. He's my favorite podcast. I'll plug that. Stuttering John podcast. If you guys don't know him, he was on the Howard Stern show 30 years ago. He's 58. He's drunk on the internet, threatening to fight people, threatening to curse people. I sent you a clip of him talking about his hemorrhoids. I mean, it's just the wildest shit ever. And every comment is insulting him. Like, imagine if every comment you had was like, you drunk loser, blah, blah, blah. You're this, you're that. And he's like, fuck you. It's like right up my alley.
Do you do edibles every night?
Every night at 9:30. Right
many?
now, embarrassingly,
What-
I'm rewatching Entourage the whole way through. And
Isn't
like,
it
I got,
watch what they did
what's that?
in like today's cancel culture, what they did on that show.
Oh my God, there's so many things you can't say or do. Yeah, every joke I'm like, yeah, that won't fly today.
How many milligrams do you take every night?
I'm up to 30.
Jesus, I'd be dead.
See, I started at 10 and then you just grow a tolerance. So 30,
30 milligrams a night.
Yeah. yeah.
Are you
Knocks
pretty
me out.
baked?
Like, what's that?
Are you pretty stoned?
When I do that,
Yeah.
I'll call you one time. Text me, I'll call you. You'll see. It's wild.
Oh, love
Like,
it,
I just
Matty.
start saying crazy shit. I mean, I say crazy shit now, but imagine me on 30. And I'll watch like Stuttering John. And I'll just, you just die laughing because it's just, I'm like, this is the worst podcast ever.
Amazing, Matty. Well, thanks for I can't even talk.
Thank you, and thanks, Joe, and congratulations to you guys. I love you both, and it's a long journey, man. You've grown up, you got a kid. I'm still the same jerk off, but it's all good.
Hey, man, I'm still the same jerk off too. That's just because I became a dad doesn't mean I'm still
That's
not
true,
a fucking
that's true.
jerk off. Well,
You
Matty,
still
thanks
hate
for
those
doing it.
Bengals.
What's that?
You still hate those Bengals.
I think I'm a realist.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Anyway, all right, man, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for listening. Great to have Matty a part of this, and we'll be back on Thursday with Prano. Have a great start to your week, and as always, stay dirty.